Welcome back to the Self-Improvement Room podcast. I'm your host, Kristy Davis, and I am feeling pretty damn good to be doing the first episode for 2025. I don't know about you, but it's been pretty hectic all around lately, and I hope you had some time with your family and maybe some time off work and just relaxing, getting ready to start the new year. So entering into 2025, this year is all about me first. It's not about selfishness. It's about being the best version of myself before pouring into others. I think that too often we prioritize everything and everyone before ourselves. And it's almost like we wear that as a badge of honor. But it's not. It makes us tired. It makes us burnt out. And far too often, it makes us resentful. Being drained and feeling disconnected and unfulfilled in your work, your relationships, as a parent, in your friendships, with your family, is exhausting. And far too often, it will lead to resentment and relationship breakdowns, stress, and in the worst cases, illness. Stress creates an incredible amount of illness over time. So I want to have a look at what me first means, what making me a priority looks like. And I want to cover a few areas of life so we can understand how we can put ourselves first and why that is beneficial and selfless. It is the best way that we can help everyone around us. I think the best analogy for this is when you're boarding an aircraft and they tell you that you must put your own mask on before you help anyone else, because you ain't helping anyone if you aren't okay yourself. All right, let's look at the workplace first. For a few years, because I have mostly worked for myself, but there were a few years where I worked for other people, and I gave a lot of energy to my work. And even in those times, it really wasn't fulfilling for me. I don't work well. It's not that I don't work well with people. I love people. I don't work well when I don't have flexibility in my schedule. And even though I work a lot and probably have no flexibility anyway, I need to be the one to tell myself that. And, self-employment, that can be very hard. It can be very rewarding, but it can be very hard. It's not for everyone. But in saying that, I had to recognize that working for somebody else wasn't for me. And that was a scary thing. But even more frightening was letting go of my music career. And somebody recently said something that was so completely profound to me that I hadn't really considered. They said, I hope one day I am as brave as you to give up my dream of a musical career. And I really had to think about what that meant, because I didn't feel very brave for it for quite a long time. I really wrestled with it because music was my entire life. I didn't know where music started and I ended. So I not only went from having a music career that I was winding down, but it also meant transitioning to my now married name. So I had a music name of Kristy James for 12 years, and part of that transition was moving to my married name, which I've now had for 10 years, of Kristy Davis. So it was this death and rebirth, but it was probably very scary for everyone around me because that's all we had ever known. And when I realized that's not what I want to do anymore, that's not fulfilling me, it doesn't serve me, I had to make the decision to let go. And this is what we have to do within our work, letting go of what no longer serves you. Now, I understand that some people can't most of us can't just wake up and say, you know what, work is not serving me anymore. I'm not going to go and I'm going to quit. That's not what this means. It just means that change can be really scary. And if it's draining you and you feel like you are stuck in something that doesn't make you happy anymore, then you need to make plans to change. One of the scariest things is trusting that your path will unfold as it is meant to, instead of forcing it and feeling fearful about the transition. Sometimes we really have to take that leap of faith. And of course, as I said, you can't just wake up and go, I quit. I'm going to take a leap of faith. The kids don't need to eat this week. I know, I get it. It doesn't work like that. But if you really, truly don't want to be where you are, then nothing is stopping you from creating a plan. And for me, this is the difference between plans and New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions are something that we write down. Well, actually, there are a bunch of things that we write down and we don't tick any off, and then we wait all year to write the same list again. We need to create goals, and we need to create plans for those goals. Actionable steps. Not everybody's going to support you. Not everybody's going to be happy for you. In fact, a lot of people will probably not be happy for you. But you need to protect your energy, because not every opportunity in life is for you. It's not meant for you. So if you start to envision what you actually want to do and what will make you feel more fulfilled, then you will have more energy. You will value who you are. And that will lift you up as a person, and it will trickle down into your family and the people around you. If you don't like your job, you ain't coming home very happy. I can tell you that right now. If you are happy in your job and it fulfills you, then you are able to come home, be happy, feel good about life, and that changes. It's like little ripples. It changes the way the afternoon goes, and that afternoon changes the way the next day goes. That next day changes the way the week is, and the month, and the year, and so on. Next minute, you've got this life that if you come home unhappy, that's how you are. That's who you are. And that is what the people around you experience. So this year, I am making a few changes myself. I'm really starting to reconstruct my career, and it is scary as hell. I get it. It really is. But I know that there are things that I'm meant to achieve. There are things that I'm meant to do. And I just have to keep that in mind every day when I wake up, because I need to be the best version of myself so I can be the best parent to my kids, so that when they come to me and they need help with their schoolwork or their problems with their friends or their problems at work, I'm not too tired or too depleted to give them that time and that energy. And that works the same with my husband. If he wants to spend the afternoon with me, or he wants to talk with me at dinner, if I'm not present, if I'm angry or frustrated or a million miles away because I'm worried about what's happening at work, again, I'm not fulfilling my commitment in the relationship. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And so many people get really angry at me when I talk about this, because I say you have to love yourself more than you love anyone. More than you love anyone. Most people do not like themselves, let alone love themselves. And it is a journey, but parents push back and they say, I love my kids way more than I love myself. How can you say that it's okay to love myself more than I love my kids? I love them more than anything. Well, if that is true, then you need to be able to hold space for them. Now, if you haven't done your own personal work and you're not happy or fulfilled, then you're going to be triggered much easier, much quicker. And that is the same at work. If you're unhappy, not only is that everybody around you at home unhappy, but everybody around you at work is as well. Have you ever worked in a place where everybody's walking on eggshells because everybody is having a bad day? If one person's having a bad day, it can really sink the whole ship. So we have to fill our own cup first. We have to really work on being happy and fulfilled in work. And if that means creating a plan for the next job, then so be it. All right, moving on to love and relationships. And I like to call this setting boundaries and protecting my peace. Love should uplift. It shouldn't drain. But often relationships, especially long-term ones, can become spaces where we shrink ourselves to save the peace. Your energy or your partner's negative energy can really lower the energy of the entire home. And that will drain the happiness right out of your life very, very quickly. Me first in love means not absorbing negativity. So if your husband's having a bad day and he comes home with a negative attitude, his energy is his responsibility. It's not yours, not mine. I'm going to protect my vibe no matter what mood he's in. If your kids come home, they've had a bad day, find the space to be with them and talk with them. But if their vibe is not doing you any favors, take a moment, walk out, come back, and we'll talk a little more about kids very soon. But you still need to protect your peace and your energy. Next, you need to speak up for your needs, and that is putting yourself first. Don't push your emotions aside for the sake of keeping things smooth. If something isn't working, address it. That doesn't feel great, and it might even make you feel nervous, but let me tell you something. If it does make you nervous, then there's probably a problem there that needs to be addressed. So speak up for what you need, because you need to be able to feel good. You don't deserve to be put on the back burner. You are also responsible for your emotions. Everybody else is responsible for their emotions. You don't have to be the sole emotional caretaker. You aren't responsible for fixing or carrying or healing anyone that isn't doing their own work. Kids, again, a little bit of a different story, but anyone around you who isn't doing their own work, it's not your responsibility to do it for them, because even if you do it for them, they aren't learning. They aren't going to change. You need to put your emotions first, again, so you can be the best version of yourself, and so you can offer that help, that emotional support to people who need it, who respect it, who actually grow from it. And this next one, this is for me, this one. In 2025, and you should do this too, I'm going to be keeping my vibrations high, which means I'm engaging in activities that uplift me. Even if your partner isn't on the same path, you deserve a love that feels good, and you shouldn't feel like you need to shrink for somebody else. So I am keeping my vibrations high and making sure that I am doing things that make me feel happy. Even if you have a partner that doesn't require you to shrink, but you still feel like you have to put them first because that is how you have trained yourself, then that is still going to drain you, and it's still going to build resentment. Even though they're not the ones doing it, you are. You're not leaving enough space for yourself, which means you can't give to them. That's something that you don't have to offer them. All right. As a parent, it's very easy to put ourselves last. And along my personal development journey, I went on a parenting development journey, and I started putting myself last all of the time. And I very quickly learned why we just can't do that. I could not give my kids what they needed because I didn't have what I needed. Society tells us that a good parent sacrifices everything for their child. But the biggest thing that I don't understand is that's this cycle. It's like this cyclic thing that we're going through where your parents did that and then you're doing that so that your kids can have a better life, but then they're expected to do the same thing. And they end up with the life you had anyway. So what did we do it for? We have to learn that that is a cycle, and it's one that needs to be broken. We don't have to sacrifice everything for our children to be a good parent, because that does not teach them what they need to learn. It kind of teaches them that they should grow up and abandon themselves too. But that is something that I have worked on very hard, and as a parent, I suggest everyone works on putting themselves first. That doesn't mean you love your kids any less. It just means you put enough effort and energy into yourself so that you've got that to offer them. It looks like modeling self-care. So my kids will see me taking care of myself, and it's not selfish. I teach them that it's necessary. My son is actually really great at this, and I think, gosh, did I model it that well? Because I don't think I did. But he is, he's only 18. He's been promoted to assistant manager at KFC, and which is a huge thing, and it's a big responsibility and it's a lot of work. But he's also full-time at university studying global development studies because he wants to be in government. So he has these goals and aspirations, but he will work really hard for the university term. And then he tells his work, this is when I'm having my holidays. And then he goes away every single school holiday period. He goes away and enjoys himself for like the whole time and rejuvenates and comes back and then is ready to get out there and work hard for another full term. So to me, that's a really good balance. As long as you're not burning yourself out, he is working hard, getting things done, and striving to reach his goals. But he still has this balance of this self-care. Number 2, and I talked about this a lot last year, and it is still very, very important, like number 1, and that's setting boundaries. Just because I'm a parent doesn't mean I'm available 24/7. My time and my energy are valuable. And my daughter does this very, very well. Every morning she will get ready and run just late enough to ask me to take her to school, even though she knows I'm already way in deep with my work. And I used to give in every single time. Now I have to protect that time and energy. Otherwise, I'm not going to get the things done that I need to get done to move forward in my life, which ultimately makes her life better. And that's what I say to her. You know, if I do this for you, then I can't do this for me, and then this isn't happening for us. She's like, okay. Of course, I'll take her if it's raining or if I need a break. But that's an example of not being there or available 24/7. Now, of course, in an emergency or in a real time of need, not just because my legs are sore and I don't want to walk to school, I will be there. I am there 24/7. I'm just not there for every single thing that they request. So setting boundaries is still important as a parent, and that can be a really difficult thing to do. In fact, that leads to feeling guilty for a lot of people. And that's my next thing that we really need to work on to put ourselves first, and that's letting go of guilt. I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to do everything perfectly to be a good parent. In fact, I think the research says you only need to do things right 20 to 30% of the time to be a successful parent. Imagine that in life, like in tests, you only need to get 30% to pass. We would be passing tests a lot easier. So it's really not anywhere near 100% perfection. Kids will be okay if you do well 30% of the time. So we've got to let go of the guilt. Prioritizing myself isn't neglecting them. It's teaching them self-worth. They are looking at me going, oh, okay, she values her time enough. Yeah, my daughter's probably not saying that to me right now, but my son, he's really understood that concept and he's very good with those boundaries with work. No, I'm sorry, I need this time. And because he's such a great worker, they value that and they respect that time for him. So we're really teaching our kids, we're modeling the life that they are going to more than likely have for themselves. So we need to model the right things. And then, gosh, this is the hardest one. This is so hard. Trusting them to figure things out. I've made so many mistakes in my life that I just think to myself, like my parents were real good at trusting me to figure things out myself. In fact, they were so good that I had to figure everything out for myself and then teach them. But in saying that, I learned a lot and had a lot of painful experiences because of that. But because of that, I am very resilient, I'm very independent, and I am goal-orientated, I'm focused because I had to figure it out. And one part of me wants that so badly for my kids, but the other part of me never wants them to go through what I've been through. So it's a very, very tough juggle for me, this one. It looks like not swooping in and fixing everything. I have to trust that they are capable and I have to allow them to navigate challenges to build resilience in their life. And a happy, fulfilled parent raises happy, fulfilled kids most of the time. There are the exceptions to the rule. But what does not swooping in and fixing everything look like? So my daughter comes to me with problems with her friends and she's really upset and she wants the answers. She's like, I don't know how to fix this. I don't know what I've done wrong. Tell me what to do. Well, if I was swooping in and doing what I wanted to do so she didn't have to experience any hurt whatsoever, I would tell her exactly what to do. But instead, I sit with her and have her talk to me about it and ask her what she thinks she could do. And then I have her go through the options. And then we step through it and try to figure out the best way to approach it. And that becomes her decision and that empowers her. If I just gave her the answer, firstly, I could be wrong. Secondly, it's not empowering. It's not teaching her. So she'll go back and try to sort out that problem based on the information that she has come up with in our conversations. And then if that doesn't work, we come back and it's like coming back to the drawing board. And I have her talk about it again. And I might throw in some suggestions. Have you tried this? Have you thought of this? Do you think this could work? It's really trusting them to figure it out. And then there are other times where she will forget to figure out what time the bus comes and she'll realize that she's got to catch the later one, which means she has to walk further, and she'll call me and I'll say, I'm sorry. I would if I could, but I can't. So you'll have to figure that one out next time. We've just got to make sure that we're more organized. And from that, she knows that if she really needed me to pick her up, I would, but she's also learning that okay, I better check things because I can't take for granted that mum's just going to drop everything and pick me up. So it's a really hard line, parenting. And it's one that I've worked really hard on. And it's one that I've studied a lot, like a lot. I say a lot because it is like a lot. All right. And lastly, let's look at friends. I'm lucky with this one. Well, some people would say I'm lucky. Some people would say that's very sad. But I really only have one very close friend. And because I spend so much time working towards my goals and I have a great friendship with my husband and my family, I don't have a great deal of room for extra friends, which is kind of my point, and that is quality over quantity. Friendships should leave you feel nourished, energized, not drained. And I have spent time in relationships where I was the only one giving. I was the only one showing up. I was always accommodating. But I need to put me first because, again, that leads to burnout. Boundaries and the word no. I have seriously practiced in the mirror. No, I'm sorry, not this time. Yeah, that's probably a bit harsh. No, thank you for asking. I really appreciate you asking me, but I can't this time. So it's something that I sincerely practice because I'm terrible at saying no. But I read a book and I can't remember. I think it's something about the beautiful word no. I'm usually better at remembering. But the idea is if you say yes to something or someone, you're saying no to something or someone else. And that concept was really helpful for me because when I say yes to things, especially that I don't want to do, I know I'm going to get really resentful when we're getting close to whatever it was I said I would do. I think to myself, well, I could have been spending time with my family. I could have been spending time with people I like. I could have been doing things I like. But instead, I'm here doing something because I didn't want to face 2 seconds of maybe 2 minutes of discomfort. So again, it's about putting me first, putting my feelings first. Doesn't mean I have to be rude. It just means I'm putting me first. And that allows me to put somebody else where they should be. My children, my family. Should I be spending time with them rather than doing this other thing for this other person that I really don't probably like or I don't like what they're doing anyway? So it's really about letting go of that guilt of saying, you know what, I can't do this. I don't want to go out on the weekend. Yes, I do want to go to bed early. Yes, I am, whatever you want to call that. But I need this for me. So again, reevaluate who you invest in, because if a friendship feels one-sided or it's heavy or it's not reciprocated, then you need to step back. Spend time with people who actually uplift you, who energize you, who support you, who are fun, who do not feel like work. And that's the same in your relationships. And the last point for friendships is letting go of being the fixer. You don't have to be the one who is the emotional support system for everyone. It's okay to just be in friendships rather than constantly helping or problem solving or guiding. Even when they ask, if they're asking all of the time and it's draining you, take a step back. Boundaries. You deserve friendships that feel easy and light. You don't need friends who are making your life heavy and difficult. Yes, I know. I hear it all of the time. What if you don't have any friends because you are this way? Go and find some. There are people out there who are not going to make you feel that way. And if you still can't find any, maybe you need to take a little bit harder look at yourself, because there are definitely people out there who will feel like not like work, I should say. And if everything feels like work for you and everyone feels like work, then that might be something that you need to look at within yourself. All right, what are my final thoughts around this? Giving yourself permission to choose you. What are my final thoughts? I thought about this for a while because this is a really important topic and it's something that I'm going to talk about a lot. Once again, me first, that concept. In fact, this is not known actually until right now, but I will be releasing a book with this very title. And that is coming up. That is in my goals list. So we'll be talking about that a little bit more, but that's how important it is to me. That's how strongly I feel about choosing yourself first. If you have been waiting for permission to prioritize yourself, this is it. I'm giving it to you. You are allowed to take up space. You're allowed to set boundaries. You're allowed to prioritize your happiness. You can say no. N-O, no. No mofo, no. And you can let go of what drains you. I'm not running on empty this year. You don't have to run on empty either. I refuse to sacrifice myself for others while my needs go unmet. You should do the same. I will be putting myself first so that I have the energy and I can hold space and create the kind of support that the people in my life who are important to me deserve. And then I'm modeling that to those people. That's what's important. If you are at work and you're throwing off bad energy, ain't nobody going to be happy to be around you. And then you're going to bring that home. Ain't nobody going to be happy to be around you there either. And then you're going to parent that way. Kids ain't real happy either. Next thing you know, nobody's happy with you. And it's all because you put everyone first. And you're like, why is everyone so pissed off with me when all I did was put them first? It's like a catch-22 really. So put yourself first. Me first. What does it look like? How can you honor that for 2025? Let's step into this year with power, purpose, and an unapologetic commitment to ourselves. Are you willing to do that? I hope you are. Right, that was a lot, wasn't it? For the first episode back of the Self-Improvement Room, I'm Kristy Davis. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe or follow the podcast so you know when every single episode is coming out. We do these bi-weekly on Thursdays, and I've got a real lot to say this year. Actually, I've always got a real lot to say, but this year it's all about, well, not me first, but us first. You first, me first. And we're going to be talking about that in terms of work, in terms of parenting, in relationships. So it's going to be a fun kind of theme for 2025. I'm your host, Kristy Davis. This is the Self-Improvement Room. Until next time, stay safe and stay well.